Hey, it's Cam again. Welcome to part 2 of our commentary. If you've missed part 1, you can click on the link in the description to check it out.
This is my favorite scene so far.
Yeah, this was the scene that I called you after.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
This is like the perfect level of like creepy.
Yeah.
I also kind of like this feeling. I feel like with these movies, things don't like really have to make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But like at the same time, they have their own logic.
Yeah.
So it does make sense for the movie.
Yeah. An interlude. Well, like, I agree. Because it plays with the idea of story. Like, in a post-Enlightenment age, we expect for there to be cause and effect and this very well-reasoned, very specific thing. But for the great majority of human history, that is not how people told stories or experienced life.
Yeah.
They were much more comfortable with this gray, mysterious weirdness to everything.
It's kind of going more back to like the root, because this kind of stuff inspired like kind of our stories today.
Yeah. Well, Joseph Campbell, Hero of a Thousand Faces. This is a hero of a thousand faces.
Remind me what that is again?
So
Is it that basically like pretty much like every hero is like one like...
Yeah, basically he talks about the cultural monomyth that every story can be broken down into this cycle where a man or a person encounters a situation that makes them leave their safe place and go out onto an adventure, and he's got it down into 10 steps. And how our stories have been basically just building on that for centuries. So, like, Simba in Lion King and Luke Skywalker in Star Wars.
Somehow I knew you were going to say both of those.
I think that's because those are the examples he uses in the book. I could be wrong about that, but at least when it was taught to me, those are the examples.
Yeah.
That it was taught to me again, and these examples were used again, so...
I mean, those are like the pinnacle for like examples of like story.
Yeah.
Especially like in just like America.
Yeah. And I think this toys with that a little bit. Because it's like, oh, so he's going to grow and change. Because you know a movie. He goes through this situation and he changes as a person. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you're watching, you're like, right? But it's always got you on edge. I don't know.
Well, I always think about that because you watch movies and you're just like, well, movies have to follow rules, right?
Yeah.
Like they have to like follow some kind of format.
Yeah.
And then another part of me is like, do they though?
Yeah.
Like what rule book is there?
Yeah.
That they have to like have like a character like go through this and then they have to like fight someone and then like technically
the rule book is named Joseph Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces.
Is it that like popular?
Yeah, it's what you study in order to write stories. But you're right. Like, do you have to? And this movie experiments with it well. But there's a lot of examples of that people trying to do that or not trying to do that and just kind of missing the ball, like the original Suicide Squad, where they forgot to do that kind of stuff.
Well, that's...
As you wish. Oh, yeah, I'm not wanting to get it. It's just because the editing was so poor in that movie, they meant to do the story, and they just accidentally didn't. And so the story is incoherent.
Yeah.
But then there's movies like this, and really there's other movies that really lean into it way more.
Well, I like when movies, like, are really risky.
Yeah.
Because then they do stuff that you've never seen before. If you're into movies, I'm really into movies. I see a lot of movies.
Yeah.
So I've gotten used to seeing the same thing happen again and again.
Yeah,
Not that they're bad, it's just like, I know what to expect. So
there's a comfortableness in it.
If you see a movie that is extremely different, that just doesn't, like, look the same as those, it's extremely, like, it's a good feeling. Yeah,
it is. It's when it surprises you, because, like, I don't know how to put it.
The black spot.
The black spot. Like, when you've seen a lot of movies and you've picked up on themes and the way that, like, tropes, like, you know this person did a bad thing, therefore they have to get their comeuppance at the end.
Yeah.
Or this person, they're telling me that this is a weakness in their character, therefore by the end, they will have learned not to do this, or they will become a worse person because they didn't learn how to do this. Then if it's a happy movie or a sad movie, I can figure that out. Mm-hmm. So it's like, people don't like watching movies with me because I normally predict the end of it, because movies are predictable, because they're supposed to be, because that's comfortable, because we've been listening to the same types of stories literally for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And it's not, oh, I'm so smart. I'm not trying to say that. It's just, there's a comfortableness in that repetition.
Uh-huh.
But it means when I encounter something and I just have no earthly clue what's going to happen next, it's like...
It's refreshing.
It's really refreshing. Not that I don't like the other stuff. I just like this too.
Yeah. It's just good to have a movie like this every now and again.
Yeah.
Yeah, A24 was the perfect people to make this movie.
You think so?
They're the only people that could have made this movie.
I hope that they get... it doesn't feel like this movie will ever get a sequel, but it's
not that kind of movie. It won't.
I know, but I so desperately want it to. Like, deep down in my wanter.
Was there, like, more? Like, is there, like, sequel to this, like, story-wise?
Okay. King Arthur was a cinematic universe before Marvel ever did it.
You're talking about more movies in the universe.
Yeah, that's all I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no more stories to tell with Gawain, but there's Lancelot, there's Yvain,
I think there's still hope for something like that.
Galahad.
That could still happen.
Frick, have these people tell the story of the Sword and the Stone. That'd be cool.
That seems like it would be like a different like kind of story though, like a different like tone, sort of.
It's because you saw a Disney movie that told you that would be a happy tone.
Is it like scary and creepy?
Yeah, it's scary and creepy.
That's kind of disappointing.
Maybe not this scary and creepy. It's more hopeful and optimistic, I'll give you that, but they could tell the story, because the world before Arthur pulls that sword out of the stone is not a good world to live in. Think about it from what I was telling you about before, where the people are afraid of the not civilized world, where they feel like everything's foggy and scary outside of what they know.
Yeah.
Okay, now imagine a world that has no power structures in it. There's no one in charge. There's no one there to take care of you in that world. That's the Arthurian world before Arthur comes on the stage.
This man really traveled across the country to come to Disney World.
So, I'm not sure about this. I want to get your opinion. This isn't really a spoiler, I promise. But I want to get your opinion. Do you think that this castle is from a different time period entirely?
Just from the first picture of it?
As you're just watching through this section of the movie, I want to see if you think this looks like a colonial-style castle from, like, the 1700s.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Well, you'll see what I mean, though. Maybe you will. I'll ask the audience, too.
From that first picture, that didn't look weird.
Okay.
It looked normal.
Okay, I'm asking people in the audience, too. Type out your opinions. There's his mama. I think that they're doing a time thing in this castle. This looks like to my ignorant eye, this looks like a colonial-era castle, like 1600s, 1700s, when the original story would take place in the 1300s. Mm-hmm. Well, no, it wouldn't. Golly day. The story was written down in the 1300s. It takes place in, like, the 400s.
No, of course not.
So this bit of the story is about him waiting for a certain amount of time, and I think they might be trying to do a time-displaced thing. Like, look at this. Like, that doesn't look like a medieval castle.
It could.
To me.
I mean, I don't know about it, but I don't think this is weird.
Okay. And I'm about to really look ignorant here, but I'm not sure if they had books yet in 400. I think they were still using scrolls. I could really be wrong about that, though. Well, I know that books existed even in Greek times, but, like, they weren't really... I don't know if they were popular. I don't know if a library would look like this in the 400s.
Just pulls out an iPad.
All I want for her to do is stand up at some point in King Arthur's court and say, "So this is how monarchy dies." With riotous applause.
This doesn't even seem real. She doesn't seem like a real person.
I agree. That's part of the whole time-displaced castle for me thing. Like, this place... It's also really close to the Green Chapel, which is a very magical location. And so I'm like, is this a real... Like, do these people exist?
Yeah.
Book opens up into a freaking heart.
That's cute.
Do you like me? Check yes or no.
Was there some kind of spell put on the land that everybody talks like it's 3 a.m. in the morning? Not only is everyone quiet, they seem incapable of not being quiet.
Man's home, however, should be safe from people coming in to plunder his wife. You know what I love? Chastity.
Why'd you add that part in? I don't see that anywhere in the text.
Honor.
He is Zuko. I have to find my honor.
Do this one thing, return home a changed man. So the movie is now coming into question directly Joseph Campbell's idea. Just because you go on an adventure, just because you experience things, will you actually change?
The answer is yes, and they leave.
Yes.
They subverted my expectations by not subverting my expectations. Then 10s out of 10s everywhere. Beautiful. Masterpiece.
Oh, I don't like that. Mm-mm.
Do you want a Snickers?
Are you aware that I'm here?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought this was my room.
I have some old M&Ms.
I was here to fight Kingpin, but... Oh, maybe it's over here.
There's just a trail of pee on the ground as she walks out.
I really thought this was the bathroom.
Just not a word.
Oh, thank goodness. He has my Firefox. Now I can browse the rest of the forest safely.
This filter looks like in Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad when you're in Mexico. Yeah.
Yep.
This soundtrack is so perfect. It's so unsettling, but it still somehow sounds medieval to me.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid going in and adventuring through, because our little plot of land was out, like, next to a forest and fields and stuff. I remember going out and adventuring in the forest, and this is the sort of stuff that I would be envisioning in my brain.
Yeah, I remember doing kind of stuff like that. Like finding places you never, like, been before.
Yeah.
You just hear, like, a fart in the distance.
That fox.
Sorry! Yeah. I'm really, really into this right now.
Yeah. Scrolls back over. He's playing on the iPad that he got from Padme earlier.
Yeah. Is anything happening?
No, he's literally just
I can't tell if anything's happening.
Nothing's happening. He's just staring at him.
This is crazy. This is amazing.
How in the world, with no music, and what is essentially a statue, do they get your eyes just glued to this? The Green Knight just woke up from having 3 ghosts visit him in the middle of the night.
Yeah, he's just powered down from like NyQuil or something. I can't help but think people saying wait in movies, somehow it works every time. That would not work in like real life.
Oh yeah, every time.
Wait. Okay, yeah. I'll just wait then.
He missed a really good line just now. He said, "Is this really all there is?" And then the Green Knight says, "What more should there be?" I don't know. I just love it. I want a poster with that shot.
Yeah, that's a really good shot. Okay, come on, movie, quit playing with me. Although it seems like they almost like he was about to do it. And he's like, I'm just kidding. I got you there.
It's like they're playing red light, green light.
Yeah,
they were playing red light, green night. He went on his adventure. He went on his quest. And he never changed.
So the tree guy doesn't have, like, any kind of, like, connection to try and finish it or anything?
I'm not going to tell you the end of the movie. I'm just saying.
Oh, it's still... Okay, I thought it was, like, basically over.
I mean, it is basically over, but there's more to tell. But he went on the quest, and he never changed as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's interesting because when this story was originally written, the stories that people would tell were about the world that they lived in.
Yeah.
They were story or plot motivated, not character motivated. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, did characters change sometimes? Sure, but not really until the time of Shakespeare did people start really having, like, story arcs. It was more literally about this person went through this thing, you know?
A lot of stories were, like, meant to, like, teach lessons and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, these were literally about characters who just embodied the values of their culture. I mean, so he keeps his sash on the whole time, but the point is, these characters were like the Captain America or the Superman of their time, where they're embodying the values of their culture in the same way that Superman or Captain America would embody the values of this culture.
Yeah.
Also, you can tell that he hasn't changed because he's still cowardly, because he still is keeping that sash on 24/7 now that he's come back.
Mm-hmm.
The writers, in my opinion, my interpretation of this is they decided to meld this idea of, is the monomyth really real? Like, do characters have to go on arcs to tell stories, with this idea of, in older stories, when characters generally didn't go on arcs.
Yeah.
At least not in the same way. I just think that's, like, that is fascinating to me.
I'm really intrigued to see where... Okay, so he thinks that he did his mission.
Yes.
So he knighted him just now.
Yep.
Okay, and then that happened.
So now, he's the next king of England. And he hasn't accomplished what he said. So this lie is just built up.
Okay.
But once again, he never became a great man.
Yeah. Well, this is just one of those stories that reflects... It's more based in real life than it is, like, story world type stuff happening.
I don't understand what you just mean.
Like, it's just one of those movies that just reflects real life more than it tries to, like, do movie plot things.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. There's also this sense of, like, now that the old guard has died, that there's just a little less magic in the world. I don't know. And that's something, because there's Gawain and then there's Galahad, the son of Lancelot, who both live in this post-Arthurian age where What do you do when you live in a world after Legends?
I do not see a way this plays out where that baby is okay.
Oh, don't you worry. You'll be nice and sad very soon. Oh, he's so cute, is he? Like Merlin is just like a real big baby person.
I just want to eat you.
I can eat you up. Yes, I could.
Accidentally has like lightning come out of his fingers.
Oh my god, I am so sorry. Don't worry, I can heal the baby.
Nothing bad was going to happen until he just accidentally screwed up.
Yeah. My metaphor house is cracking. Dang it, Merlin, I told you to build me a normal house, not a metaphor house. What happens when a man never changes and then has to, like, you know how in stories people go through hard things to prepare them to be able to do great things?
Yeah.
What happens when a man has to do great things but he was never prepared to do them?
Your son dies.
Your son dies. That's what happens.
That's the concrete answer.
That is, and I want to be clear about this, the answer.
Yep. We
don't have a son, you'll have a son, and then you'll lose him.
We spared you the time.
Everyone, you're welcome. Make sure you go through your character arcs at home, ladies and gentlemen. Because there comes a moment in everyone's life where they have to step up and own up and be responsible for something that seems too great for them to handle.
Turns out this is all on the same day.
He's just sitting confused the whole time because he's like, everything is moving so quickly.
This is the worst Monday I've ever had.
Left completely alone in his own throne room. All of his soldiers are gone. All his family's gone.
He looked like he just pulled that out of his belly.
Yeah.
Out of his stomach.
I can't tell if they were trying to do that or if it was just like supposed to be under his shirt.
I've been got. I just got.
I got.
Nope. No, sir.
What could it possibly be now?
No, I can't do that.
I just waited through the whole sequence.
Did they just do the most risky story thing just to come back to it was all a dream?
Now I'm ready. He became brave.
I don't get what just happened.
He wasn't ready to die. The Green Knight.
Okay, we're done.
That's the movie.
We're done?
That's it.
Okay. Please explain this to me.
So, at the end there, he's about to behead him, and he keeps not wanting to die, right? And so the Green Knight is about to behead him, and then he says, wait. And he thinks through what his life will be like if he doesn't own up to his word. Thinks through everything that will happen, and then realizes, I would rather die here than live longer and be a coward. And so takes off the thing that was going to save his life no matter what, so that he can actually receive the blow from the Green Knight.
Okay, so what about the part where his head just falls off? What was that?
At the end of that little sequence there?
Yeah. Was that all just like metaphor?
That was all metaphor in his head.
I hate when that happens.
For what would happen.
I could never follow when movies just go into that and then they're like, oh, that was all just poetic.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, freaking tell me when. I don't...
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
That was definitely interesting.
Yeah. I almost like to think of it as both of the endings are true. That's like an alternate universe, one where he chooses to do it and one where he chooses not to.
That was pretty much I don't know how to say this. That is what I expected by not being what I expected.
Yeah. Yep. I know exactly what you mean. So, in the original legend, how it ends is the Green Knight goes and is about to get him, and he tries, what do you call it? He winces. And,
he flinches?
Yeah, he flinches. Thank you. And the Green Knight scolds him and says, "You need to take this." And then the guy says, "Okay, I will." And he goes and he kneels down to receive it. He doesn't flinch. And the Green Knight deals the blow, but just nicks the back of his neck. And says that by choosing to receive the blow, he's now ready to be the King of England. And then he goes back, and that's what proves him to be the King of England. So that's the original story.
I thought that kind of thing would be what someone would expect.
Yeah.
From that. So they changed it a little bit more. From the original.
They didn't even change it. He just said, "Now off with your head," and then they cut the movie to let you decide what happens next.
I gotta be honest, I hate when movies do that.
Yeah, I know you don't like that stuff. I like it because it's either in this movie does he cut his head off, or does this go on to be like the legend?
It's neither, because they never did either one. That's why I hate it.
It's infinite potential, Christian.
That's not how it works.
Maybe he's about to deal the blow, and then he takes the axe and hits him with the axe back.
Okay. Final thoughts.
Okay, final thoughts. I love the movie. It makes me want to talk about legends and greatness and, I don't know. It's just so good, and I want more of these.
As someone who doesn't know anything about this stuff, my brain hasn't processed what I just saw. Mm-hmm. I don't really have, it's one of those movies where I don't have a concrete, score or, I don't think it's good or bad. Mm-hmm. I just need to watch it again. Mm. But it was definitely, very intriguing and very interesting.
Even, for me, even if the plot didn't have all that stuff that I like so much about it, how it was filmed and how it was put together was so good. It made me feel the way that I feel like the legends should make me feel. That sense of dread that just hung over it, and mystery that just hung over it, was so perfect. So, there are some things that I would change about it, but I think that for me, this being my second watching, I would give it a 9.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'd give it a 9. Do you can't produce a
number? I don't have a score.
Yeah, I'd give it a 9.
If I gave it a score now, it wouldn't be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it for me.
All right, I guess that is it for me as well.
We will see you next time.
All right, see you guys. Bye. You know what to do.
And if you don't, ask someone.